Hi, welcome to my little space here. I'm Erin. I will be guiding you through practice today, so thanks for joining me. Glad you're here. Um, it will be kind of a gentler flow. You won't need any props. If you have props that you want to use, feel free to do that, but you won't be required to use any. And of course, if anything I cue doesn't work for you, or if you want to modify the postures or the practice in any way, um, I encourage you to do that and just listen to what's best for your body and make the practice work for you today. So we will get started in a comfortable seat. Whatever that might look for you. Closing the eyes if you're comfortable doing that. We'll just begin by taking a few deep breaths together, giving ourselves an opportunity to tune into the body and the breath. You may not have done that at any point yet today. So exhaling all the air out of your lungs. Together we'll take a deep inhale through the nose, filling the belly, filling the chest. And exhaling fully out the mouth. Inhale, drawing the breath deep into the belly, inflating the rib cage. Full exhale, letting all that air go. One more deep breath in through the nose together. Feeling the collarbone lift at the top of your inhale. And then exhaling fully out the mouth. And then just letting the breath return to its natural rhythm. Noticing the body, where it connects to the floor. Feeling the lift through the crown of the head like someone's pulling a string attached to the top of your skull. And then sealing the lips and starting to inhale and exhale through the nose. Evening out the breath to a count of 4 on the inhale and 4 on the exhale. And then lengthening out the exhale a little bit more. So you inhale to a count of 4, exhale to a count of 6. This lengthened exhale is a great way to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest side of the nervous system. So it's a very calming breath pattern. It signals to the body that you're safe, and then you can relax and let go of tension and adrenaline and stress. So you can return to this 4-6 breath at any point throughout the practice. choose to. And then we'll gently cup the hands over the eyes, blinking the eyes open, and then letting the hands fall away and letting the light of the room return into your line of sight. And then inhale, lift the shoulders up towards the ears. And exhale, and fall down the back. Inhale to lift the shoulders. Exhale to roll back. One more. Inhale, lifts the shoulders. Exhale to lift the shoulder blades, melt down the back. Next, inhale, we'll open the arms out wide to a T, palms face up. Exhale to curl the upper back, wrap the arms around your shoulders, giving yourself a hug. Inhale to open and lift. Exhale to hug and curl, maybe tucking the chin. Inhale to open. Exhale to curl. One more. Inhale, opens the chest, lift the collarbone, maybe lift the gaze. And exhale to hug and curl, giving yourself a little love here. On our next inhale, arms will circle overhead. And then exhale, right hand plants on the ground, left arm comes up and over, reaching out through the fingertips to get an opening through the left side of the body. Inhale here, full exhale. Next inhale, we'll flip that top palm up to face the ceiling. And then on an exhale, start to reach out and down, circling that arm slowly down towards the ground. And you can play around with the direction of your gaze here. You might feel different sensation in the side of your neck as you move your gaze up or down. And then slowly bringing that arm back up overhead. On your next inhale, we'll come back through center, arms overhead. Exhale, left hand plants right arm up and over, opening through the right side of the body, right rib cage, rolls open. Inhale to flip the top palm to face up. And then exhale to take that arcing motion with the hand, really reaching out through the fingertips. And again, moving your gaze up and down, maybe finding a spot that feels really nice or just needs a little bit more opening. Inhaling to bring the arm back up overhead. Exhale here. Next inhale, we'll meet in center. And exhale, we can release the hands down to the shins or the floor. From here, we're going to uncross the legs. And then planting the feet on the floor, knees facing towards the ceiling, so knees bent. We'll stay seated, planting the hands behind you, fingertips facing forward, so that wrists are just about under the shoulders. From here, we're going to inhale, pressing through the heels, lifting the hips up towards the ceiling, gaze comes to the ceiling. Reverse tabletop. Exhale to lower the hips back to the ground. Inhale to lift hips, lift gaze, keeping a slight tuck in the chin so that the back of the neck is still long. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift, reverse tabletop. Exhale to lower, this time lifting the heels, tucking the knees in towards the chest, tucking the chin to curl up into a little ball. Inhale, reverse tabletop. Exhale, lower and curl. One more inhale, reverse tabletop. And exhale to curl. Next inhale, we'll plant the feet back on the ground here. And then just start to take some windshield wiping motions with the knees, moving at your own pace. Getting into the hip joints and continuing to open up the shoulders here. Nice. And then we'll meet back in center. And then we're going to come to all fours. So coming to that position, however is comfortable for you, maybe crossing ankles and rolling forward or coming off to one side, but meeting in a normal tabletop position this time. Shoulders stacked over wrists, hips over knees, nice long spine. And then just taking a little bit of organic movement here. Maybe moving side to side. Puffing and squeezing the shoulders. Just letting the spine get warmed up a little bit. And then meeting back in our neutral tabletop position. From here on an exhale, we'll send the hips back to the heels, arms reach out long overhead, forehead comes to the ground for child's pose. And just taking a few deep breaths in this very restful posture. Child's pose is always available to you at any point throughout your practice if you need to take a break. So know that you can return to this shape at any point. From here, we are going to move through a kneeling sun salutation, which might be new for some of you. Maybe you've done standing sun salutations. This is just a kind of a gentler modification. So to begin, we'll inhale to stand up on the knees, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, tabletop, planting hands. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, cow pose. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, curl the chin, send the hips back for child's pose. Inhale to stand on knees, fingertips reach up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms circle overhead. Exhale, tabletop. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest. Exhale, moving through cat, sending the hips back into child's pose. Inhale to lift and reach. Arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, fingertips reach up. Exhale, tabletop. Inhale, drop belly, lift the gaze. Exhale, tucking the tailbone, sending the hips back into child's pose. Last round, we'll inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale to circle arms up. Exhale, tabletop. Inhale, drop the belly, cow pose. Exhale, move through cat, sending the hips back into child's pose. One full breath here. Next inhale, we'll move through tabletop. Then exhale to tuck the toes under, send the hips up and back into downward facing dog. And this is our first down dog of this practice, so just taking a few moments of free time here to get settled into this posture, making any movements. You want to maybe pedaling out the feet, bending and straightening the knees. And then finding stillness, keeping a gentle bend in the knees to keep the hips lifted, making the spine nice and long. Take 2 full breaths here together. Next inhale, gaze comes to the top of the mat. Exhale, feet step to meet the hands, folding over legs. Bringing a deep bend into the knees here so that belly can rest on the thighs. And again, we'll take a few moments here to just move organically and make this feel really good. And sway hips side to side. Maybe clasp opposite hands to opposite elbows. Ragdoll. Shaking the head, yes and no. Releasing some of those little tiny muscles in the neck. And then releasing any grip you've taken on the hands. Next inhale, we'll lift up halfway. Hands can come to shins or thighs. Nice long spine. Exhale to fold. Inhale, circle arms up overhead, coming all the way up to stand, Tadasana, mountain pose. And exhale, hands to heart center, closing the eyes, finding the breath again. We've moved from the floor to standing, feeling the weight of the body distributed evenly across the soles of the feet. Always keeping the spine nice and long. Next exhale, we'll release arms alongside the body. Inhale, arms come overhead. Exhale, we'll sink the hips back, deep bend in the knees for chair pose. Here, feet can be hip width distance apart, or soles of the feet can come together to touch whatever is comfortable for you. 3 full breaths here. Using your exhales to deepen the pose, sinking the hips. For your last round of breath and your next inhale, we'll lift the right toes up, just hovering them slightly. Knee comes to lift. And then exhale to step that foot back into a high lunge. And then grounding that back heel, keeping the hips squared forward for warrior one. And you can bring hands to hips to pull that right hip forward a little bit. We want to make sure hips are squared forward to the front of the mat. Feet are in two separate lanes almost, so heel to heel alignment or wider. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, we'll drop the arms out wide, repeating that arm sequence from the beginning of class. Exhale to curl and wrap the arms around your shoulders. Inhale to open and lift. Exhale to hug and curl. Continuing with this on your own breath. Making sure to keep the lower ribs knitted together here so we're not flaring out the abdomen. We're really keeping the pelvis tucked, keeping the core tight. So we're just opening and moving through the top of the spine. Next, inhale, we'll reach arms back up overhead, warrior one. Exhale, we'll step forward with that right leg, lifting the knee, coming into a one-legged Tadasana. The right foot is flexed, 90-degree angle, bend in the knee here, finding a point of balance on that left foot. We'll inhale to lengthen, and then exhale to twist over to the right. Left hand comes to right knee. Right arm can float behind you, or come around the back, or come to the hip. Finding an arm position that works for you. Gaze can stay out to the right, or maybe start to move the gaze over your right shoulder. Challenging your balance a little bit here. One more round of breath. Next inhale, we'll come back to center. Exhale, feet plant on the ground, hands come down alongside you. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale to sink the hips back into chair pose once again. 5 full breaths here in chair pose. Building some warmth in the body. Sinking a little bit deeper on the exhales. Next, inhale, right toes lift, left toes lift, hovering above the ground. And exhale to send the left foot back for a high lunge. And planting that back heel, square hips forward, warrior one. Again, thinking about keeping those lower ribs and abdomen knitted together so we're not flaring open, keeping it nice and tight and strong. And then we'll move through that arm sequence again. So inhaling to drop the arms out to the T, lift the collarbone, lift the gaze. Exhale to curl and hug. Inhale, opening the arms. Exhale to curl, feeling the back of the shoulder blades opening away from each other. Next, inhale, arms come overhead. Exhale to step forward into one-legged Tadasana. Left knee lifts, left foot flex. Inhale to lengthen. And exhale to twist over that left leg, taking any variation with the arm and the gaze. Maybe it's the same as what you did on the first side. Maybe it's different. That's fine. Next, inhale, we'll come back through center, arms overhead. Exhale to release foot and hands to the ground. Inhale, arms reach overhead. Exhale to fold forward over the legs. Inhale to lift halfway along spine. Exhale, hands plant, feet step back for downward facing dog again. 3 full breaths here. Next, inhale, gaze to the top of the mat. Exhale to step feet up to meet, hands fold and over legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale to send hips back, bending at the knees for chair pose. 3 breaths this time. And then next inhale, lifting that right knee, right toes under. Exhale, high lunge, stepping that foot back. Planting the back heel, coming into our warrior one once again. Inhale to lift. Exhale, we'll sweep arms behind the back, clasping the fingers together. Pulling back on those interlaced fingers to open and broaden through the chest. And like before, continuing to knit those ribs together, keeping the core muscles engaged. Gaze can lift. 2 more full breaths here. Next inhale, arms will come back up overhead, warrior one. Exhale, stepping that right foot back up to meet the left, coming right into chair pose. 3 breaths here. Sinking a little deeper on the exhales. After that, let's exhale, inhale to lift the left knee, left toes. Exhale, stepping back into high lunge. Planting the heel, coming into warrior one. Second side. Inhale to lift. And exhale to take that heart opener, sweeping hands behind the back. Interlacing fingers. Lifting the sternum, lifting the gaze. 3 more breaths. From this heart opener. Next, inhale, arms overhead. Exhale to step up to the top of the mat, Tadasana, this time mountain pose. Inhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant, hands, step, feet back to downward facing dog. 3 breaths in down dog. Letting the body reset, reconnecting to the breath. And then inhaling, gaze to the top of the mat. Exhale, feet to meet hands, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms overhead, Tadasana, mountain pose. Exhale, chair pose. 3 breaths in chair. Inhaling, lifting right toes. Exhale for high lunge. Coming back into warrior one, grounding that back heel, hips squared forward. This time we'll inhale to straighten that front knee. And then exhale, we'll start to hinge from the hips, holding over that front leg. Arms can stay overhead if you want to work on challenging strength and balance. Hands can come to hips. Otherwise, if you want to move into more of a deep stretch, hands can start to move towards the floor, rounding the back over that front leg. You can bring a slight bend into that front knee in whatever arm position you've chosen. So coming into this deep fold if you want to work more on opening up that left hamstring. Otherwise, keeping the back nice and flat, using the back and core muscles to keep the upper body lifted. In pyramid pose. 2 more full breaths here. Next inhale, we'll lift back up through warrior one. And then exhale to step forward right into chair pose again. 3 breaths here. Inhale to lift the left toes, left knee. Exhale, high lunge. Grounding the back heel, warrior one. Second side. Inhale to straighten the front knee. And then exhale to start to fold over that front leg. Again, choosing any arm variation that you would like. Gently bending that front knee so you're not locking it out. 2 more breaths. Second side pyramid pose. Next inhale, we'll come back up to warrior one. Exhale to step to the top of the mat, Tadasana. Inhale to lift. Exhale to fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift, crown of the head reaches forward. Exhale, plant, hands, step, feet back into downward facing dog. And then on your next inhale, planting the knees, moving through a tabletop, and then sending the hips back for child's pose. Again, taking a moment to reconnect with the breath, reset the body. letting the belly fall between the thighs. Shoulders fall away from the ears. Next inhale, we'll come back through tabletop. And then exhale for downward facing dog. Moving on. We'll inhale, gaze to the top of the mat. Exhale, step the left foot forward in between the hands, coming into a low lunge. Next, we'll walk the hands over to the long side of the mat, adjusting the feet to come into a wide-legged forward fold. Bringing hands to hips, keeping back nice and flat. We'll inhale to come all the way up to standing. So we're in a wide-legged upright stance, and then adjusting the feet so that heels are pointing in, toes are pointing out towards the outer corners of the mat, so we're more in an open stance with the feet. From here, we're going to inhale to circle arms up overhead, star pose. And then exhale, swoop arms down, bending at the knees. We're almost like gonna be like we're gathering something up from the ground. Inhaling to lift and straighten. Exhale to squat, scooping. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Imagine you're gathering energy up from the earth and then sending it out with your fingertips as you lift. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. And next time you come to the top of your star pose, we'll pause here, feeling the expansion of the body, taking up space. And then on your next exhale, we'll send the hips down, bending at the knees, arms or hands come to heart center for horse pose. Moving side to side here. We'll be here for several breaths, so keeping the chest nice and lifted. This is an intense heat building pose, so just noticing the physical sensations and mental activity that comes up in this posture. One more full breath. Inhale, star pose, straightening the legs. Hands can come to hips. We'll do one more round of horse pose. Just taking a little breather in between. Next inhale, we'll reach arms up overhead for star. Exhale, sinking hips back down into horse. This time hands can stay at heart center. Hands can come out to a cactus, palms face forward, or goddess pose. Otherwise, hands can come to knees if you want to get a little bit of twisting action, dipping one shoulder down and then the other. 3 more breaths here, whatever shape you've chosen. Sinking a little deeper on the exhale. Inhale, star pose, straighten the legs, lift the arms. Exhale, fold over for a wide-legged forward fold. Hands come out to a T. Toes point in. Adjusting the feet if you need to. And we'll have a little free time in this wide-legged forward fold. Whatever movements you'd like to do here. Maybe bending one knee and then the other. Or finding a twist by planting right hand underneath the face on the ground. Left arm can reach up towards the ceiling. Maybe finding a bind. Wrapping that arm around the back of the body. Releasing any bind, reach the hand up again, and then exhaling to take that twist on the other side. Right arm reaches up on an inhale, taking a bind if you did on the first side. And then releasing that hand back up, exhaling to come back through center. And then we'll walk hands back over towards the left foot, coming into a low lunge at the front of the mat here. And then let's walk that left foot out to the very edge, outer edge of your mat first. So hands are inside the left foot. And then we'll step the right foot forward to outside the right hand and sink the hips down into a yogi squat. Again, toes are pointed out here. Hands can come to heart center. With elbows pressed against knees. Opening up the hips. And then we're going to release hands down towards the ground and come back into a forward fold at the top of our mat. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale to plant, hands, step, feet back, coming into downward dog once more. Inhale, we'll drop knees to tabletop, and then exhale, sending hips back for child's pose. Before we move on, just taking a few breaths in child's pose, cooling down. Next inhale, we'll lift back up to tabletop. And then we're going to come to a seated position again. So once again, just moving into that however is most comfortable and accessible for you. And we'll find this palms planted, bent knees, knees facing the ceiling once again. From here, we're going to move into boat pose. So several options for this. So first, we can stay with our feet planted on the ground and just start to lean, hinging back from the hips, keeping the spine nice and flat in whatever variation you choose for this, keeping the spine long and avoiding rounding in the lower back here is going to be important. So choosing an option where you can maintain that length and straightness in the spine. So this is option one. Option two, you can lift the toes, lift the feet any amount off the ground. Choose your own adventure. You can add in arms, either forward or up. Option to straighten the knees, but picking a shape that you can hold for another 5 breaths here. This is a strength and a balance challenge, so finding your sweet spot. One more full breath. And then exhale to release. Coming back into a comfortable seat. We'll do one more round of boat. So taking a few breaths here before we move back into that. And then setting yourself up for a second round of boat. Choosing your position, the feet and the hands. We'll hold for 10 full breaths this time. And pulling in with that core. And on your last exhale, we can come back forward to a seated position. And then we'll move to our backs. So maybe just rolling down to come to lying on the back. We'll again have feet planted on the ground, knees pointed up towards the ceiling. Arms alongside the body. Heels should be pretty close into the body here. We don't need to force it. On an inhale, we're going to lift hips up towards the sky. Exhale to roll back down. Again, inhale to lift the hips. Lift the chest. Exhale to lower. We'll add in arms next. So inhale to lift the hips. Arms lift, coming overhead. Exhale to lower hips, lower the arms back down alongside you. Inhale to lift, arms and hips. Exhale to lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale to lower. Last inhale, we'll lift and then we'll hold our bridge pose here. So either bringing arms back alongside you or clasping hands behind your back. Open up the chest a little bit more. 5 full breaths in your bridge pose. Keeping the back of the neck long. And on your last exhale, releasing any grip on the hands. And slowly rolling the spine back down to the ground, one vertebrae. Next, we'll send the left leg out long. And clasp hands around the right knee, hugging that leg in towards your chest, compressing the hip joint, giving it a nice squeeze, pulling that knee in towards the body. Inhale here. And then we'll exhale to twist over to the left, sending the left or right knee over to the side. Left arm can stay connected to knee or thigh. Right arm can come out long. Gaze towards the ceiling, or maybe gaze comes over the right hand. For reclined twist. Inhaling back through center. And then exhale to switch out the leg, sending the right leg long, hugging the left knee in towards the chest, clasping hands around the knee or shin, giving that hip joint a little bit of compression. And one more breath. Inhale. And then exhale to twist over to the right. The right hand connects the left knee, left arm comes out long. Gaze to the ceiling or over towards left hand. Settling into this reclined twist. Next inhale, we'll move back through center. Exhale to release both feet back towards the ground. Knees bent once again. And then we'll bring the soles of the feet together to touch and open the knees out like a book, coming into a butterfly position with the legs here. Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined bound angle pose. Here, options for arms are to keep them alongside the body, or maybe rest them on the body. Otherwise, if you want a bit more of a chest opener, again, you can bring the arms out to a T or a cactus or even overhead, choosing your intensity. And then maybe closing the eyes, just settling into this pose, starting to let the body really cool down, sinking into the ground. You're welcome to stay in this shape as long as you would like. And whenever you're ready, choosing and starting to move into your final resting position for Shavasana. You may want to straighten the legs out long. Bring the arms long alongside you or opened out, taking up as much space as you need to here. To allow the body to rest. Closing the eyes. And when you're ready to move on with your day, starting to bring some small movements into the body, deepening the breath, circling wrists and ankles, slowly starting to move the joints, rocking the head side to side. And then on an inhale, reaching arms overhead for a long body stretch, really reaching out through fingertips and toes, and awakening the body. And then exhaling, roll over to one side, curling up into a ball for a moment. I'm just taking a few breaths here before transitioning back to a seated position. Eyes can stay closed. Again, finding a comfortable seat. We'll close active breath. So exhaling all the air out of your lungs. Inhaling through the nose, drawing the breath deep into the belly, rib cage, chest, collarbone lifts. Nice deep breath, maybe the deepest breath you've taken all day. Holding it at the top for a moment. And then sighing the air out through your mouth. Letting it go. Bringing hands to heart center. Thank you all for taking the time to practice today, joining me, and doing this wonderful practice for yourself. So, thanks for being here. Namaste. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your day, and I hope to see you again sometime soon. Bye.